Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Melissa. I'm a registered dietitian, and here on my channel we talk about all things food and nutrition, and we also always have dogs playing in the background. So if you like those things, then you are in the right place. Today we are talking about another kind of nutrition buzzword that I feel like gets thrown around a lot and no one ever really knows what it means. So I'm going to share that with you today. We are talking about FODMAPS or FODMAPS, however you would like to pronounce it. I'm going to say FODMAPS. That just sounds right. So today we are talking about FODMAPS, which again, I feel like it's just kind of thrown around a lot and no one really knows what it means. Some people are told they should go on this diet and then not told why or what or all that stuff. You get the point. Let's get into it. So firstly, what are FODMAPs? FODMAPs stands for fermented oligomonosaccharides and polyols. So basically all those things are fancy names of short chain carbohydrates, and they in particular have a chemical structure that is resistant to digestion. So kind of like dietary fiber, when you eat these things, instead of getting absorbed into your bloodstream, they go further into your digestive system. So these FODMAPs end up going to kind of the end of your intestines, which is where gut bacteria resides. And they then act as kind of fuel for the gut bacteria. So this is kind of where it becomes a problem, because having those bacteria use them as fuel ends up creating gas and a lot of other digestive problems. It can also draw in water into the intestines, which can cause diarrhea. So basically, Brody doesn't like diarrhea. So basically that is where the issues come in, is when these FODMAPs are used for fuel as the gut bacteria and end up causing digestive symptoms. So where do FODMAPs come from? So like I said, they're all going to be short chain carbohydrates. They come from things like fructose, lactose, and fructans. So fructose is going to be from fruits, lactose, milk, dairy, and fructans are in a lot of grains. There are also galactans, which are in legumes, and polyols, that last P of FODMAP, which are sugar alcohols. So kind of a bit of a comprehensive list of foods that contain FODMAPs. So again, lots of fruits. I'm going to read this because it's a very long list. So apples, blackberries, dates, pears, peaches, watermelon, honey, high fructose corn syrup, xylitol, and other sugar alcohols and artificial sweeteners, milk, yogurt, sour cream, soft cheeses, whey protein, asparagus, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, cauliflower, garlic, onion, mushrooms, beans, chickpeas, lentils, kidney beans, soybeans, bread, pasta, cereal, tortillas, beer, fortified wines, soy milk, and fruit juices. So FODMAPs are in a lot of things. So you know, when people are told they should go on a low FODMAP diet or take it upon themselves to go on a low FODMAP diet, that is not something that should be taken lightly, because that's a lot of food that are included in that category. So speaking of who should be going on a low FODMAP diet and why do some people have issues with FODMAPs and some people don't. So honestly, we're not really sure why some people react to FODMAPs and some people don't. It often goes along with IBS, which is irritable bowel syndrome. Being sensitive to FODMAPs isn't the cause of IBS, but food and diet can play a big role in how often or what symptoms you get from IBS. And you know, just like some people react to FODMAPs and some people don't, the people that do are not going to be reactive to every single food that I just listed. You know, some people are reactive to half of those things, some people are only reactive to a few of those things. It really just kind of depends on the person. So continuing on with the low FODMAP diet, who should go on that diet? So unlike a lot of the diets that we have talked about on this channel, the low FODMAP diet is not about weight loss. I mean, the only thing that it might help you lose weight is if you're just really bloated from digestive issues, but it's not a weight loss diet. And like we discussed, there's so many foods on that FODMAP list that it can be a really restrictive diet, and it's not really to be taken lightly or just kind of done halfway. It's something that you really have to take seriously, and you really should probably work with a dietitian or a nutritionist or a doctor to kind of make sure that you are going about it the correct way. So in terms of who should be on the diet, again, a lot of people with IBS end up going on this diet, and if you do have really severe symptoms, then it might be worth a shot for you to try out this diet. Or, you know, even if you haven't been diagnosed with IBS, but you find yourself having a lot of digestive issues like abdominal pain, abdominal cramps, bloating, diarrhea, those sorts of things, it'd be worth trying out this diet with the help of a healthcare provider. So what do you eat when you are on a low FODMAP diet? Again, I'm going to read this list. So meat, fish, eggs, fats, herbs and spices, pretty much all of those are safe foods. Nuts and seeds are good. Citrus fruits, grapes, raspberries and strawberries. Maple syrup and stevia are okay for sweeteners. Lactose-free dairy products are okay. Hard cheeses are all right. Bell peppers, carrots, potatoes, greens, squash and zucchini, tomatoes, corn, and then oats and quinoa are pretty safe for the grain category. So, you know, you still have foods to choose from. It's not like you can only eat meat and eggs or something like that. But when you are following a low FODMAP plan, it's basically an elimination diet. So when you start out, you are eliminating all of the foods on the list that I read previously of the high FODMAP foods, and then you are slowly adding things back in. See what foods give you symptoms, which foods you react to. My neighbor just started blowing leaves, so I'm sorry if you can hear that, but we're almost done. Yeah, that is why it can be really helpful to have a healthcare provider helping you work through this, to help you add things back in at the right rate and kind of keep track of what is causing you symptoms. So this is not a diet that should be followed long term. Some people actually end up hurting themselves by doing this diet constantly, and you can be hurting yourself by doing it long term because those high FODMAP foods contain prebiotics, which are food for the good bacteria. So while some of them might be causing symptoms, the ones that you're not reacting to are helping you by providing those prebiotics to the gut, and by restricting all of them and continuing to restrict all of them for a really long time, you can actually be changing your gut bacteria and not providing enough fuel to those healthy gut bacteria. So sometimes people end up making it worse, and it's totally understandable. You know, I think a lot of people with IBS and these digestive symptoms, they do this low FODMAP diet and they stop having symptoms, so they are afraid to add those foods back in. And that's totally understandable. And again, that's why it's important to work with a healthcare provider so you can work through that and really figure out what foods you are able to eat without symptoms, so that you can make sure that you are still feeding your gut and taking care of your gut health while eliminating those foods that you react to. So yeah, that is just a little bit about FODMAPs. Hopefully that was a good explanation and you learned something. Let me know if you have any questions below. Again, let me know if there's any other, you know, like buzzwords that you hear a lot and don't really know what they mean, and I would be happy to discuss them on this channel. Yeah, give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe if you have not already, and I will see you next week.